Wow. Love that song. Every year they ask me, what song should we play? I'm like, you guys should know this by now. It's the same song every year. Hey, listen, good afternoon, and thank you all for sticking it out and hanging in there. I know we're getting close to the end of the event. But I just wanted to talk to you about an opportunity that I saw a few years ago, well, a long time ago. It's now 24 years in this industry, and specifically 8 years at Experior. And what I'd like to share is, the journey, well, first of all, the start, the journey, and what might be the results for a lot of you if you go to work and put your heart into this thing. And it's kind of my journey, where we started, how we started. I'm going to focus in specifically on Quebec, because that's where the journey with Experior really started. So I called the name of the presentation as A Journey to a Legacy, and it's just really talking about how we got started in Quebec. And we started with just a handful of people. There weren't very many people when we went to Quebec. There was Delroy, myself. My daughter had moved to Quebec on a student exchange at the University of McGill. She always wanted to be a lawyer, and she got accepted at McGill to be a lawyer. So Quebec kind of became an obvious place for us to go. But, when we started there, I'm telling you, there were a lot of challenges, and I'll just go through a few of them. So the start, we didn't know that we had to have a license separate for Quebec when we moved there. We didn't know that we needed to have some language laws in place. I didn't know you had to have a sign outside that was in French, but once you got inside the office, it could be English. And then once you got inside the office, then it could be English or French. We also had no support, from our previous company, WFG. The support there was so lacking. I think we were there for 10 years before we actually got, how when you register your license in Quebec, you can do it online? I don't even know if WFG still has that. It was all done by paper. We had to send stuff into Toronto, then it came back, then we had to send it back to Toronto, and then they sent it to the AMF. So I think one day I just, asked Jamie if he would just set aside a couple hours, and I got a couple of our French-speaking guys on the phone with the AMF and three-way Jamie, and they fixed that problem in one day. We didn't have things like, we didn't have the required French documents. We didn't have business cards in French. I think I just about got fired from WFG compliance because I just went down to Staples and printed a French business card that I found a French card somewhere, and I said to the guy at Staples, just do it like this, English on one side, French on the other side. And I got hauled up into Toronto compliance for doing that. But once they realized that they didn't have it, so I had to figure it out, then I got off with it okay. So I'm not sure if this is what your journey is going to look like, but this is how we started. It was just a handful of people at the beginning. And when we came over first, it was really because of the people that were at Experior. In 2018, when we decided to make the transition, WFG was going through a massive lawsuit in the province of Quebec. We couldn't recruit anybody. We couldn't license anybody. And I remember one night sitting down at, I think it was Baton Rouge, and we were all there. Hattie was there, Dinesh was there. And I looked over and I said, we're moving to Experior. And Hattie's like, what? And the first thing he's on his phone checking out, who is this, what is this? And Dinesh is like, no way, Andrea, no way. And I'm like, Dinesh, just shut up, we're going. And it was really literally like that. So in 2018, we started off with just a few. And, no matter how good this thing is, some people just don't make it here. So don't be discouraged if people leave you. Don't be discouraged if they join and then leave. Enough will stay. Work with those. I asked Leanne today, approximately how many AOAs did we have last year? And would you guys believe it that there were 7,086 AOAs? So don't feel bad when a few people leave your team. Enough will stay. And work with those people. Dealing with Experior back in 2018, It was such a breath of fresh air. You know, getting the support from Jamie and Leanne and from Experior's head office. And it was probably the biggest decision in having us come over is just the transparency and the support that we got from those people. A significant part of our journey was the expansion into the US. At first, it was just Myron and Tasso getting in there. And in 2020, this is actually what our team looked like in Quebec. And this was our US team back then. It was Aurelio, Eric and Mary, Raza and Imrana, Jack and Meredith. And now I'm not even sure how many we have in the US, but I'm sure it's well over 1,000 AOAs for sure, and I'm not even sure how many licenses. But with all the new guys coming on, you know, there's AJ that just came in today, Mark Zimmerman's here, Judy Sheffield's here, and I'm meeting a lot of these people for the first time. Carmen Hornberger's here. And so what really made the difference? And the difference was really, you know, Jamie and Leanne, the founders, and the quick response that they gave us in getting established in Quebec. The leadership at the head office staff, the transparency of everyone there. You know, in the early years, we had to deal with head office a lot. And I remember dealing with, you know, Sheldon helped us, came out to Montreal and taught us the compliance ropes there. And Maria and East Contracting, and Heather and Sarah, and, you know, Joanna helped with all the marketing stuff. And then there was Sally, and I saw Rochelle out there. I think I was on the phone with Rochelle Barber every single day until we got this thing going in Quebec. The second was the fair treatment of agents, you know, from the compensation plan to having real ownership and our renowned legacy program. If it wasn't for that legacy program, I'm sure a lot of you would not have joined Experior, and a lot of you would not have stayed at Experior. So as a leader, the last one is what makes a difference is your team. As a leader, you get to work with people that you want to work with, and you have to encourage and support those people, because it's those people that want to fly, and if you're ready, you can fly with them. Like these superstars, you know, I had head office and marketing drum up this poster of all the six-figure earners on the Unstoppables teams, and they were the rock stars that saw the opportunity, ran with it, and now run some of the largest hierarchies in this company. And then there were my foxhole buddies, you know, the people that we started with. And these are the three that really go the farthest back, all the way back to our WFG days. You know, they've always had my back. I've always trusted that, you know, when I needed them to step up, they did. And it was also these three people that really led to this. And it was the speed. I couldn't believe how fast this thing took off. You know, we went from 300 in 2022 to 500 in 2024 in May, and then in July to 600. So you can see really how fast this business can grow if you put your heart and soul into it. You know, Experior has allowed me to not only leave a legacy for my children, but whether you know it or not, if you're building something here, if you're building a big hierarchy here, a big team here, you will be building a bigger legacy than just your own family with the numerous teammates that you will help here. Yes, the motto of the company is to build financial foundations for our families to empower them today. But the bigger legacy that you'll be leaving is you'll be leaving a legacy for your teammates to help their families build a legacy for tomorrow. And for this, I'm very proud. You know, in closing, my message to all of you, and I've got 1 minute and 31 seconds, and I promised them I wouldn't go over, is to start building some financial foundations here for your business today and for your family today, so that you can leave your team to build a legacy for their teams tomorrow. And I thank you for the opportunity, and God bless you all.